So many people were having confusion, like we have done load balancers course already from you. So I just wanted to know that is only a part. So if you really want to become good expertise in your load balancer, plus you need to be good, let's say in troubleshooting, plus you want to clear your certification till 301 level. So that I will be covering in this. So in this course, I was covering load balancer content, but certification content was not added in that. There were people who wanted to clear certification. Some people were able to clear, but some were not able to clear. So this certification I'll be covering till advanced. And then I'll be covering 6 hours special training on your interview scenarios, where I'll be covering about 80 to 90 interview scenarios with you. So interview scenarios will be like with answers, where I'll be giving you scenarios when an interview was. So why this is called job guarantee program is, guys, I'll be covering this job guarantee program in the sense you can clear any interview after this related to F5 load balancer. So when I talk about troubleshooting course of this, in this troubleshooting course, guys, I'll be covering your different scenarios. Some scenarios will be covering, some scenarios when we do migration, some scenarios when we upgrade, and how you troubleshoot application issues, how to check different statistics. So that will be covering, and that will help you to clear your 301 exam. So here my target is a long target, guys. It will be around 60 hours of training, and it will be weekends training. 2.5 hours or 3 hours Saturday, 2.5 hours or 3 hours Sunday. So it might take 2.5 months to 3 months. Now here, what are the modules which I will be covering? First module will be your F5 load balancer. Here I have added 2 more components which I will be covering: your migration approach, plus I will be covering your upgrade approach and how you troubleshoot when any issues comes in. Plus we'll be also covering with every topic certification topic. So I'll be going through this course content soon, where I'll be updating you what I'll be covering in each course content. Second module would be totally on your troubleshooting scenarios. So if I talk about troubleshooting scenarios, I'll just give you an example. Most of the troubleshooting issues which come in our production environment are either hardware, either it is related to your application, either it can be related to your slowness, either it can be related to your bug. So we'll be covering everything in this troubleshooting content. When I talk about troubleshooting content, guys, my target would be covering around 50 to 60 scenarios. Okay, around 30 live tickets we can try in our lab. It's a live ticketing. When I talk about tickets, sometimes ticket comes related to slowness. Sometimes ticket comes that, hey, my virtual server is working fine, but one of the connection is going to one server, but it is not going to second server, where I'll be covering Wireshark. So Wireshark means TCP dump here. So when I talk about hardware, application slowness issues, it can be different objective. When you need to check whether you have, let's say, client, then you have firewall, parameter firewall, then you have F5, then you have different servers. Sometimes I've seen issues where company says that, application owner says that, hey, Vidit, when traffic is going from client to F5, it is only going to server 1. It is not going to server 2 and server 3. Hey, Vidit, I am facing SSL issues. I want to see packets related to SSL handshake. Why my SSL handshake is getting failed. This is the live scenarios which we will be covering. Hey Vidit, I want to see that can you just confirm through connection table? One of the question which will be asked in your interview is how to check connection table in your F5. This many people don't know. This will give you whole traffic flow, like when a packet processed from client, after it goes to firewall, after it comes to F5, how it goes to different server. You can see connection table. So why I can see here source IP destination IP is because F5 is your full proxy. So there will be two connections, one from client to F5 and one for F5 to the server. Sometimes they say that, hey Vidit, can you just confirm me that my application is working slow? This is the most common issues which comes in your live scenario, that your application is slow. You get a call in morning or afternoon or night that hey, my application is not working fine. In that case, how you troubleshoot. That is most common issues which you will see. So this is how different scenarios will be covering. Plus, I'll go to the course content. I wanted to show you that I'll be covering whole hardware of F5 in advanced. Like how you can have, like many people I ask, like, hey, do you know how much memory is there in F5? Do you know what is swap memory? Do you know what is other memory? Do you know what is TMM? Do you know when I talk about different processes, daemons, we will be covering that also. Like what does TMM means? What does MCPD means? So this is the most critical daemons of your load balancer whenever you go through your troubleshooting. So my main agenda is first to clear your production troubleshooting and your load balancer concept. Second agenda would be to clear your certification. I'll be covering whole certification content here, which is 101, 201, and 301. Now, when I talk about different other scenarios, when a packet comes from client, let's say they want to access a website called sianets.com. I want to see that some people say that, hey, I'm not receiving packet on my F5. Where to check? Where it is blockage, whether it is a blockage on firewall or it is blockage at F5. So packet processing order is there in your F5 load balancer, which I have not covered in my basic course. So in this, guys, first, it will always check your existing connection in your connection table. If it's an existing connection, that means that F5 has received a packet and you can confirm. There is another concept called packet filter. Sometimes there is a filtering like a firewall rules. It's a TCP layer 4 or layer 3 rules, which is configured. If you're not having this, then it will check virtual server. After that, it will go to NAT, self IP. If it does not find any packet in this, then it will drop your packets. So we will see each points, like how you can check next packet filter, how you can check existing connection in your connection table. Do you know that there is a virtual server processing order also is there? That I'll also discuss how a virtual server process your traffic when a client connects. Let's say I'm a client who wants to connect to a URL on F5. It goes to different servers. How a packet once received by F5 will check. Can anyone tell me by default F5 will deny your packet or accept your traffic? Let's say when you get a packet on F5, okay, and you don't have any virtual server. Please understand my question. Let's say you have a customer who wants to access sianets.com website and there is no virtual server for it. Will it deny your packet or will it access your packet? Anyone on the chat can confirm this. Whether it will deny your packet or it will accept your packet when there is no virtual server. So, without a listener, guys, there is no concept of your F5 load balancer. Please understand that whenever you want any connection to go through your load balancer, there should be your URL virtual server. If there is no virtual server, then F5 is denying your packet. Now, guys, sometimes a question comes, hey Vidit, can you identify why your virtual server is not working as expected? This is the most 30 to 40% troubleshooting scenarios which you will come across. Why your URL is not working as expected. So when I talk about virtual server, it is nothing but it is just your URL of your website. So there can be a virtual server which is available. Does it mean that, guys, if there is a virtual server which is up, but still my virtual server is not working fine? So there can be many issues related from layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 to layer 7. That is the most common issues which you will see in your production environment. Now, when I talk about different other things of your virtual server, there are scenarios. Here you can check. So here my question was previously people wanted to ask me whether I'll be covering CLI also, guys. This course contains your GUI plus CLI both. Because without CLI, this course is not. Because the most of the commands like packet captures, troubleshooting, seeing the logs, Daemons, that will be done through this configuration. So this is the reason objective, each objective will be covering troubleshooting scenarios will be covering from beginning. How we need to check, then we will check state of your virtual server, whether virtual server is configured with proper IP address. All these scenarios will be covered in detailed. Also, guys, I'll be covering your hardware troubleshooting also. Like how you can check whether it's a power supply issue. Do you know that you have an hardware? Okay, when I talk about hardware level in F5, okay, just come give me 1 minute. I'll just show you one of the hardware. So when I talk about hardware, guys, if you see this hardware, just let me open it. Okay, when I talk about any of hardware level, how to calculate throughput value, how you can confirm whether you can use I series, whether you can use R series, whether you can use advanced module. So whenever you go to any interview, guys, this will be the first question which will be asked. Can you confirm with it which model number you have worked in your company and how your hardware looks like? What are the different ports available on hardware? If my device is not coming up after upgrade, how you can troubleshoot? There is an LED screen, might be here. You cannot see, just 1 minute. I'll show you quickly here. So when I talk about big IP, guys, big IP has three products in it. One is virtual editions, one is hardware, and now they have one of the module called Silverline Cloud. And when I talk about hardware, these are the different modules. Now they have introduced your R series, which is the latest model of your F5. Okay. So here, if you see this screen, okay, I'll just increase the size, just 1 minute. So if you see here, guys, this is your LED indicator. Now, what does your solid yellow means? What does your blink yellow means? What does your solid red mean? That also I'll be covering in your sessions. Now, when I talk about your network components, okay, when we talk about that, hey, my interface is not working fine. I wanted to see how many drops are there on my interface, how you can check that. We will study about whole logs file also. So when I was talking about this is how different scenarios will be configured. We will cover profiles also in detail, like what is covered in your TCP profile, what is covered in your HTTP profile. This will be my topic which I'll be covering in detail till WAF level. This This does not cover LTM or WAF, but this is troubleshooting related to your TMOS. After this, you can troubleshoot LTM also, GTM also, and ASM. Mostly, I'll be talk about load balancer troubleshooting, but since your operating system knowledge is same. So this will be my troubleshooting scenarios which I'll be covering. First, I'll be covering all the scenarios related to your virtual server. Then how we can troubleshoot your hardware issues. That will be my section 2. There is one component, might be people, I'm not sure whether they're aware, AVR. That generally have a license, but I will try to cover that also, which will give you performance issues. It will really help you to troubleshoot issues related to performance. It is called analytic and visibility reporting tool. There is a profile which you need to enable. This is very important tool which I'll be covering. How to determine the root cause of your HTTP and HTTPS based application based on your traces, headers, how you can determine your root cause. That all I'll be covering through my scenarios. Now, next scenario which I'll be covering is performance issues, guys. When I talk about performance issues, we should know logs file. What is covered in this var log LTM? I want to see how your pool members are flapping, how to check that command. I want to check the drops in my interfaces. Whether it's a cabling issue, whether it's a layer 3 issue, or whether it's a layer 2 issue, how you can identify, that will be covered in this troubleshooting scenario. When I talk about daemons, guys, kernel logs also is important. Whether it's a faulty hard disk issue, whether it's an issue related to boot. Sometimes you will face issues like your GUI is not working fine. People will ask about your high availability sync failure issues. HA failovers, guys. Sometimes customer wants to see why failover happened. Customer want to see why memory leakage is happening. Why my device CPU is going high. Do you know that when I talk about CPU, how many CPUs are there in our load balancer? Anyone? When I talk about CPU in load balancer, whether it is F5 WAF, GTM or load balancer, how many CPUs are there? Can anyone tell me? So there are 0 to 7 CPUs. Trust me, guys, people, when you go to your tech, they will identify this. Like how many, they will ask you how to troubleshoot high CPUs. Do you know what is hyper threading? HTT module. Do you know F5 has two planes, forwarding plane and your control plane? Anyone does know about that? When I talk about forwarding plane, what does it means? When I talk about control plane, what does it means? So when I talk about your CPU, guys, I'll be talking about forwarding plane versus control plane. Forwarding plane is your data plane. Control plane is your management plane, guys. There is a concept called hyper threading. When I talk about CPU, there is a concept called cores, guys. CPU cores. Let's say in your laptop, guys, someone asked me, hey Vidit, can you tell me like which laptop is good? I talk about you should always take a laptop which has 8 cores, which has 16 cores. RAM you can take, but cores are also important. What is TMM, guys? And sometimes you will see, hey, I'm facing 80% CPU. I got this logs. 80% CPU is going. Now I want to see whether it is a CPU related to management plane or whether it's a CPU related to TMM interface. So when I talk about CPU, guys, there are CPUs, 8 cores of CPU. Okay. So 0, CPU 1, CPU 2, CPU 3, CPU 4, CPU 5, CPU 6, and CPU 7, guys. Now, guys, if someone says that, hey, my application is working slow, so you need to check this CPUs, CPU 0, CPU 2, CPU 4, and CPU 6. These are your TMM or data interface. Very, very important, guys. If it is high, then we need to check TMM components. Now, guys, what is TMM? Can anyone tell me what is TMM? TMM is called your traffic management microkernel. That is the main daemon which is used in your load balancer, guys. Anyone knows about that TMM, guys? How TMM looks like? So I'll show you quickly on that what does TMM looks like. Just 1 minute, I'll show you one picture. I had one picture which was critical where it was talking about different TMM. Yeah. So I'll see whether I can open this. When I talk about guys hardware level, so there are different TMMs enables. So this is main components of your TMOS architecture, guys. This will be covering in detail. Traffic management microkernel, host management system, and always on management. When I talk about TMM, guys, sometimes, guys, people will ask, hey, my load balancing is not happening properly. Equal load balancing is not happening. There are two scenarios. First, you have different three servers. Your load balancing is happening between each server, but it is not equal. This is the question which will be asked in your interview, or this is the question which will be asked by your customer. One more scenario is I have three servers with it, but my request is going only to server 1. They are not going to server 2 and server 3. So this is because TMM manage your all load balancing traffic. You need to check CPU and memory related to that. It is a real-time process which runs in your TMOS operating system, guys. When I talk about host management subsystem, guys, this is running on CentOS Linux operating system. And it provides how you get CLI, how you get SSH, how you get GUI. Do you know which part of your operating system is providing this feature? This is provided by your host management subsystem. Now, can anyone tell me, guys, when I talk about CPU utilization high, okay, let's talk about one scenario where people are reporting CPU utilization high. What are the things you will check on F5? Anyone? When I talk about CPU utilization high on your F5, first thing, guys, you will check which of your virtual server is utilizing high CPU and how to check that command. I want to see particular virtual server which is eating up my CPU cycle. How to check that? So the command is show LTM virtual, then your virtual server, or you can say show LTM virtual server. If it will give you a detail called CPU usage ratio. Does anyone knows this component? People start using top command. People just start using statistics command to check that. But did you ever run this command to check which of your virtual server is using high CPU? Do you know that there are I rules also which are using your high CPUs? Can anyone tell me how we can check CPU cycle of executing of I rules? So this is the command show LTM rules. So I'll be covering each scenarios which will be used. Now, when you talk about top command, what does it do? Anyone tell me? Sometimes, guys, there is a daemon which is running your high CPU. So to check that daemon, you need to run this command, top command. Now, some people will ask you what is daemon? What are the different daemons in F5? So just go to this. These are the critical daemons which you should know, which I'll be covering. Now for health monitoring, guys, what is the daemon which is used? So these are your main daemon. Can anyone tell me for health monitor which daemon is used? Big D, guys. For Reche, which daemon is used? SOD. So this will be covering which each daemon is used. You will also search here MCPD. So MCPD is the main daemon of your F5. What does it do? Let's see. Now, when MCPD is basically your master control program, without this, your communication will not happen between your team and your processes. No data will get exchanged. That is the use of MCPD. Very, very critical topic. Okay, so this daemon is my another topic, which is my favorite topic, which I'll be covering. Now, next, I'll just show you. So this was load. I'll just go through 5 minutes on your content. So first, guys, I'll be going through all your load balancer stuffs, starting from big IP system. What does big IP means? How TMOS was developed? What is the operating system being used in your F5? We'll talk about TMM, Daemons. How once you get a new F5, how to configure it from scratch. Let's say you get a new F5 in your production environment and you want to configure it from scratch. How you can configure it based on your management IP. Then we'll be covering about your network interface. We'll be talking about initially setting up. We'll be doing all labs on your VMware workstation. I'll be sharing you all images which is required in this course. We'll be talking about F5 major components. When I talk about load balancer or any other modules which is WAF or GTM or troubleshooting, there are three components which will be used. First one is called node. Your whole F5 deals with these three components. What is node? What is virtual server? What is pool? So virtual server is nothing, guys, but it is your URL of your website. So this is called front end. When I talk about backend component is node and your pool members. We'll be talking about NAT and SNAT, which is again a major topic in your F5, where I'll be talking about asymmetric routing issues. Also, guys, now just give me 1 minute. Let me just show you if I get a license. I'll try to get one new license because my license has been expired. I'll just see whether I get a license. I wanted to show you. This time I'll be covering each component of your F5 also. Okay, I'll try if I get it. So when I talk about this F5 module, guys, now you have two components. People had question, hey, Vidit, how I can do labs? So guys, when I talk about license part, F5 gives you 30 days license free. And you will get two license free. You can use 30 days each, guys. Okay, you will get 30 days each of your license. First license you can use for 30 days. Second license you can use for next 30 days. Again, you can use more licenses depending on your emails. That is how I got. And luckily I got the license, guys. I'll just log in and I'll show you quickly because that is a critical component. And guys, 5 days back, there was an interview question which was asked by A company called HCL. Most of the companies which have huge F5 demands on Wipro, HCL, British Telecom, F5 is in huge demand. And when I talk about Gulf countries, guys, why I'm focusing on certification? Even you are expert in F5. If you are not certified in 101, 201, or 301, guys, countries like Dubai, Singapore, they will not take you, guys. Trust me, Polo Alto and F5s are in huge demand, but with certified engineers. When you are F5 certified, when you will say 101, 201, people are doing it. Okay, 101 is easy. 201 and 301. These are the most critical exam you will find. This one, when I talk about 301B. If you clear this exam, guys, you can become F5 solution architect. Trust me. It will give you whole scenarios to troubleshoot. That's what I was showing you in this course content. Just 1 minute. I'll just copy paste. Maybe I think I did not got big IP here. Anyways, I'll just check later on. So I wanted to show you how you get, but I'm not able to see that big IP license. Just 1 minute. So from this portal only, you can get your free license. Just you have to go on to F5 30 days free license. This is how you can make your lab in your environment. And it will give you right now it is 27th October. It is valid till 27th. Okay, now I got it. How I can apply it, guys? I'll just log in into my F5. Guys, trust me, when someone asks you questions on interview, na, people are not able to answer. When I ask how to see management IP on F5, trust me, people don't know. Can anyone tell me? I want to check management IP of your F5. What is the command in CLI? CLI is critical when you talk about troubleshooting. Now here I will show you when I talk about packet drops, how you can check. When I was talking about CPU, when I was talking about virtual server, how you can run this. So how to check your management IP? Command is list says management IP. So this is the command. Now I'll access through 192.168.137.60. Luckily I got the license today. Sometimes it takes time. I'll just log in and you have to run through HTTPS. Here you will just enter. See, my F5 is ready. Now question which HCL company asked was, what is difference between service check date versus license check date? Why this is necessary in F5? Anyone knows? Difference between survey check date versus license check date. Anyone on the chat? Meanwhile, I'll just renew the license. I'll see your answer in the chat. I'm just activating my new license which I got, guys. Just you have to go to licensing, license, reactivate. Okay, you have to just click on edit. Another question which will be asked in interview. Let's see your device license got expired. Will your traffic gets impacted? Anyone can tell me when your F5 license gets expired? Will your traffic gets impacted? Yes, guys. You're not able to use your traffic. So you need to be very careful that it will impact your all application traffic. So just I'll select the new key. I'll click on manual. I'll click on next. License I already told you. You have to just click on this get free trial. You have to just log in and you will get the screen. I have already logged in. So see, this I'll just copy this, Control A, Control C. I'll just activate. Meanwhile, I'll just install this. I was on into this part. Syllabus. So when I was talking about guys this, I'll be covering whole your health monitors. I'll be talking about your configuration files. Guys, can anyone knows what does this means? Bigip.conf, bigip underscore base. What is the difference between these two configuration files? When you do migrations, you will get different scenarios, whether you have to do from hardware to virtual or you have virtual to virtual migrations. How you can do that? Or let's say after upgrade, your device is not coming up. What are the prerequisites which you need to check it? So there is a major command, guys. Whenever you do any migration or upgrade, before that, guys, you need to run this command: load sys config verify. This command will make sure that before upgrade or migration, you don't have any configuration errors in your existing configuration. Please note of this command, guys. Very useful command before upgrade and migration. We'll be talking about different persistence scenarios, guys. Question comes into picture by one of the question which was asked by British Telecom. When you have a pool, guys, what is pool? Pool has combination of your server 1, server 2 and server 3. Okay, customer says, hey Vidit, let's say I have a client who is connected to sianets.com. After that, there are 3 servers. Now, one of the servers I need to make sure that it goes into maintenance. But I want to make sure that existing connection does not get dropped. Please understand my scenario. I have a client and you want to access sianets.com. I want to make sure that my existing connection does not get timeout. What you will do? Because your server is down, but you need to make sure that existing connection gets shifted to this, or you can say established connection. How you need to make sure this? Anyone can tell me? Is there any concept of this where you need to make sure that if your server, let's say, go into maintenance mode, or let's say you want to disable it, you want to make sure that there is no impact on your existing connection. Now, guys, there is a concept called action on service down in your pool. which will make sure that your servers, I'll show you quickly. Okay, just maybe this device might have issues. So when I talk about action on service down, guys, this is one of the greatest features on F5, which makes sure that meanwhile that it is not resolved. I'll show you from here how you can see that. So when action on service down is there, there are four options available on your pool member. Now, can you tell me the answer which I asked you in my question, out of which you want to select which option? My question was I don't want my established connection should get issues. I want that to get transferred to my new pool member. So this is one of the feature which is very, very critical when you talk about troubleshooting scenarios. So this was one thing which I was discussing. Let me go through other thing. SNAT, we have already talked, network processing. Now, guys, one of the important feature which comes into profile is your optimization profile, which is called TCP LAN and WAN optimization. Okay, just 1 minute. I'll turn on another F5 also. Maybe this F5 might have issues. I will try to turn on another F5 to make sure whether this gets licensed. I wanted to show you some settings on my live device so that you get an idea what is the difference when you do F5 and what is the difference when you are doing this course. I'll try to again relicense my box. I'll try on this. I have turned on another F5 also. So license is one of the easiest topic of F5 which covers you how to license your box. Let's see if it gets licensed. So I was talking about profile section. Then we will talk about one connect profile. We'll talk about route domains partitions. Route domain is another critical component of F5, which many of the people will not able to answer in their interviews or when they get a certification exams. I rules, local traffic policies, all this will be part of my F5 load balancer. When I talk about this F5 load balancer topic, this will be around 24 hours. This was module 1. When I talk about module 2, guys, there comes your troubleshooting. In troubleshooting, I'll be covering four sections. First, I'll be covering all scenarios related to virtual server connectivity issues, where we'll be reviewing node, virtual server pools, address, routing issues, health monitors, profiles, and your CLI. Then we'll talk about your HA. So there are 8 scenarios which I'll be covering on your troubleshooting your basic server connectivity. Okay, guys, my device is up. It will take some time. So see, if you see 27th October is my license expiry date. And it has all the features. You can do any of your settings in this. Okay, this one is okay. So when I talk about troubleshooting, let me cover this, then I'll show you that scenario which I was talking about. 8 modules are there in this, where I'll be talking from virtual server node pools, address translation issues, routing issues, health monitors, profile section, TMOS, your HA part, and failover scenarios. And we will talk about troubleshooting methodology step by step. Real world example I'll be covering. One example of real world ticket is, let's say you forgot your root and admin password. How you can recover it? Anyone knows? I want to reset my root and admin password in F5. How I can do that? Anyone can tell me that? So there should be a step-by-step approach, RCA and practical exercise in applying that. Then we will talk about, guys, hardware troubleshooting, where there is a critical tool which comes into picture is and user diagnostic. That only applies to hardware but not to your virtual appliance. That covers your licensing part, software upgrade. Now, this is another critical topic which I'll be covering. How to troubleshoot layer 1, layer 2 issues, layer 3 issues, routing issues. There are different tools which will be used. How to monitor your memory CPUs, system logs. Here, this is very critical where we will see different daemons. When I was talking about in troubleshooting how daemons roles are, I rules, AVR tool, different log profiles. This was section 1. Second section is favorite for you all, which you need to be expert. How to troubleshoot different application related issues. Here we'll be using 5 major tools: TCP dump, Wireshark, SSL dump. Guys, I have client, I have F5, I have servers. My end-to-end sessions are encrypted. Does anyone knows how to decrypt it? And why the use of decryption is needed? Here we will see how to take SSL dump and how to see your encrypted packets. I want to see what is coming under your HTTP or TCP headers. And Wireshark is not this Wireshark. F5 has a tool of Wireshark in it. I have shown you on previous class. If someone missed it, there is a plugin available which you can download. F5 Wireshark plugin, which we will study. It will tell you on from which interface traffic is coming, from which interface traffic is going out. Then we will study about Fiddler tool, guys. This is for analyzing your HTTP, HTTPS traffic. Why you are receiving 200 response code? Why you are receiving 302? Why you are receiving 500? What does it means? And this difference file is when you upgrade or migrate from old box to new box. This is an important critical troubleshooting tool. Curl command, guys. It is again an HTTP monitoring. When an HTTP monitor you have applied and it is getting fail, you need to troubleshoot. Now this is again I was talking about when it is an HTTP based application, you need to interrupt what is the issue you are getting. Customer is facing slowness issues. or customer is not able to access the URL, or customer is saying, hey, when I access my URL, it is redirecting to another URL. What does it means? So we will see how to decode what are the different HTTP methods, how to see cookie, how cookie tampering can be done. Now guys, here I'll be talking about how to decrypt SSL packet. So there are three scenarios which we'll be discussing: SSL offloading, SSL bridging, SSL pass through. We'll talk about how to troubleshoot NAT and one connect, how one connect issues happens, what are the issues which can occur when we apply a one connect profile, what can be issue which can be resolved after applying one connect. Then guys, this will be another scenario related to device. So we talked about application issues so far. We have talked about layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 7 issues, how we can capture. We have talked about how to troubleshoot layer 7. Now this is related total device. So device level issues can be multiple. Level issues can be device working slow. Device failure can happen. How you can do quick RMA. Guys, one question for you. One scenario based question which was asked in a company called Accenture 20 days ago. Please understand this scenario. Maybe you can help me to understand to answer. I was not able to clear that question. Okay. I have F5 1, I have F5 2. One is active, one is passive. Please understand this question. Now, both are working in HA. Suddenly, this device goes down. And after troubleshooting, after taking console, we have seen that it has stuck and it is not coming up. Now, in that case, what will be your last solution? Anyone? Can anyone tell me? In that case, you have troubleshooted remotely, but it is stuck. How you can say that whether it's an hardware issue or whether it is related to bug? So here we will study about EUD tool and user diagnostic, guys. This will also asked in your F5 201 exam. Can anyone tell me, guys, uh, how to do RMA? What is RMA? So you opened a ticket and F5 says that this device is faulty and we need to replace. Now customer says, hey Vidit, I don't care, yaar. I'm paying you thousands of dollars and I want this device to come up in 4 hours. Is it possible, guys? If there is one device which goes faulty, customer is saying that I need to make sure that this device comes up in 4 hours. So in that case, guys, what we will do is first critical thing is we should always take UCS backup. After that, and how you will make sure that you make this device in 4 hours? Can someone tell me? This is the interview question asked in Accenture, and this will be asked in most of the interview questions. That I have two devices in HA, one device goes down, I need to bring it up. What are the things which I need to make sure? That I'll discuss in this troubleshooting and your load balancer course. So you don't need to do anything. You have to just complete your management IP. You have to just do your network configuration. You have to do your cabling part. That's it. All other configuration will come through your HJ. That is how you can make the device active in 4 hours. You bring that device networking up, that's it. Other than that, you don't need to take care of anything and you build an HA and configuration will come up in your another box. Here guys, we will study about log files. QK view. This is another critical tool or a file which you will upload on iHealth. I will help you to read that. We will talk about NTP issues, DNS issues, statistics. Traffic is coming inside but not going outside. What is the reason of packet drops? How you can see packet drops in F5 guys? Can anyone tell me without an this what I say packet capture? Is there any command which I can see packet drops? So let's see. Admin, admin. Just go to local traffic. Sorry, you have to go to network interfaces. Statistics. Here you can see packet drops. This is how you troubleshoot layer 1 and layer 2 issues. This is the first reason of your slowness issues. If you see any errors or any drops, people start using taking packet capture. They don't forget to see this L1, L2 issues. That is how you can troubleshoot. Okay, I was talking about virtual server CPUs. I'll show you how you can see. Go to virtual servers. This virtual server. I was talking about when CPU is high, how you can troubleshoot. Can I see any CPU here? No. So you have to go through CLI command and just go to putty. Just log in into 192.168.137.60. Just type tmsh list LTM virtual server. It is also not showing. What is the command? Can I check this? Now just go here. Go downwards. Can you see this CPU cycle? I'll just go upwards. See this. What does this means? CMP. Anyone can tell me what does this CMP means? What is this CMP in F5? These are small questions which will be asked when you attend your tech interviews with F5 or any company which is like Cisco Tech, Palo Alto Tech, F5 Tech. They will ask you this small basic questions. So CMP is called your cluster multiprocessing. For each module you have, it is the feature which allows big IP to contain multiple CPU to run multiple TMM instances. I'll show you. I was showing you 7 CPUs are there, right? So how you can see? So says TMM info. See this, guys. Or grep says TMM. Right now it's an virtual box, so you have 2 CPUs. Otherwise, it will show you different depending on your hardware, different CPU cycles. Sometimes what happen, guys? Load balancing behavior also depends. So how you see that? So I'll show you one picture quickly. That is a very critical component which I wanted to cover. My main focus is to bring you capable to understand all concepts and all demons. So see this scenario. Big IP uses your layer 4 hash to distribute connection on your CMP enabled virtual servers. And load balancing algo is then applied, guys. So consider the following scenario. You have a virtual server, you have a pool with 4 members, and your load balancing method is round robin. When your virtual server CMP is disabled, how your traffic is going, how connection 1 is going, how connection 2 is going, how connection 3 is going. We have never seen these issues. First, 4 connections will be made to virtual server, all which will be processed by your TMM. Then big IP system load balancing these 4 individual connections to 4 load balancers, 4 servers based on round robin. Another scenario is with CMP enabled. When you have CMP enabled, how the traffic goes. Here, can you see this? They are using different TMM. Why, guys, we are using different TMM? People ask, hey, Vidit, how F5 make sure that with SSL my connections are fast? Due to this feature. The CMP feature is used to speed up your connection handling by distributing connection across multiple TMM. Very, very important, guys. So this was about CMP device logs. I was just covering that. Device problems, log files. Now, guys, another important issue which you face many times. Your F5 is getting fail of HA. Guys, in HA, I wanted to ask one question which was asked in TCS. Okay, the question was, what is difference between VLAN failsafe versus gateway failsafe? Anyone can tell me? This was the question which was asked in an interview. So standard of interviews are high nowadays, guys. Don't think that you are good in one, you are good in others. Standard is becoming very high nowadays. They will catch you in 5 questions. So my objective is you don't miss any questions. That's why I will be covering 90 or to 80 scenarios in interview series. That's why I'm taking a 6 hours. So after this modules, 5 modules, I can guarantee you, you can work in any troubleshooting scenarios. You can get a good job in your F5 tech. So trust me on that. So I was talking about this. So how you can check this? You just go to F5, just log in. Here you just go to system, high availability, fail safe, guys. Just understand the difference. These are the main processes which we'll be discussing. So there are three fails which we talk about: system fail safe, gateway fail safe, and another is your system gateway and VLAN fail safe. So how you can see, when I go to system failsafe, guys, what does it mean? If any of this process goes down, you have an option. It should get failover and restart your TMM, or it should go offline. So this is first of the reason when someone says, "Hey, I want to see why my device got failover." This is the first interview questions when you are in troubleshooting. It comes why your device got failover. So you need to check this daemons, whether any of the daemons gets restarted. Now, you want to see which device is active using CLI, guys. How you can check that? You have devices in HA. You want to see which command is used, guys. For HA, we will study about this command. Show sys CM. So CM is a critical component when I talk about HA. Another component which is critical in daemon is SOD, which is a failover daemon. Can anyone tell me one thing? What support file is needed to open a tech case? When you open a F5 tech case, they ask you for support file. What is the name of that file? Is it UCS file? Let's, I'll take 2 questions now. Second, QK view. Third, lock messages. Last one is big IP underscore base. Which file is used to open a tech case? Quickly on message. So answer is QK view file, guys. Another question, guys, one scenario based question for you all. Very important question, guys. You have self IP. Okay. Question is F5, as an F5 support engineer, you are able to access big IP or F5 AR in management interface. This was the question which was asked 30 days before in Fujitsu and Pfizer. You are able to access F5 through management interface. Okay, but unable to access using self IP. What is the issue? Do you know that we can access F5 through self IP and management interface? Let me show you first this. Right now I am accessing through management interface. Can I show you? I can access through external self IP also. Let's go. See this guys. Now question is customer is not able to access. Means customer not, but you as a customer, you are working as an F5 L3 engineer. You got an issue where you can access F5 through management interface, but you are not able to access through self IP. What can be reason and how to get resolved? I'll just apply that issue so that you will not get the solution right away. I'll do something. Let's see whether you are able to answer. I will create that issue in front of you. Just think about that. I'm able to access F5 via management interface, but not able to access via self IP. What can be issue? Previously, I was able to access. Now let's see. 192, 168, 1.52. See guys, I'm not getting any page now. Previously, I was getting. So answer to this is guys, there is a concept called port lockdown. If it is none, you are not able to access. So what you need to make sure to access this, you have to apply allow custom UDP port 443. Add and let me check now. These are the issues which will be asked. I'll say allow custom. Still I'm not able to access. What can be issue guys? From 1.52 I'm not able to access. I'll delete this port 443. I'll convert into TCP. So it was UDP port. I wanted to test your knowledge. So this is how you can troubleshoot different issue. Okay, guys, I'll just show you more things. Uh, Module 2, we will also talk about sync failures. There are a lot of issues when people say, sir, I'm facing a lot of synchronization issue. How we can troubleshoot that? That is again another issue which come. Now, guys, module 3 will be totally on your certification exam. I'll be covering each topic in detail for 101. And I'll make sure that you are able to clear exam. You don't need to study any books after that. I'll share you some materials that is only your thing. So here I'll be covering section 1, where I'll be talking about VLANs, R, basic stuff of CCNA level. That is section 1. After that, we'll talk about troubleshooting, application and network errors, layer 1, whether traffic is arriving at destination, how to check that, all scenario based. After it, then layer 3 will be your section 3 will be your maintenance. We will see different statistics, how to check congestion, how to check whether it's an upgrade software issue or upgrade problem, how to minimize upgrade downtime. Guys, this is one of the question which was asked in a company called Oracle. Question was, hey Vidit, I want to make sure that during upgrade, my both the boxes should come up in 1 hour. They should get upgraded in 1 hour. Some people say I don't want any downtime. After that, we'll discuss about ADC components. Eye health, we will talk about how CPU is, how memory is, how you can calculate the bandwidth. Then we will talk about, this is section 3 of F5 101. Section 4 will be your OSI layers, different components, ICMP, OSI model, SSL. Guys, after this, you are good in your OSI layer also, that I can say. You can answer interview questions for OSI also. VPN, HA concept, DNS. So these are the all topics which we'll be studying. This is all about your blueprint. This is an F5 approved course content for 101. Now 201 is, again, it's a difficult exam. It requires all practical knowledge. Where all will talk about configuration part, talking about network configuration, VLANs, self IPs and their properties. We will talk about different types of virtual server, persistence, rate limits. We will identify the reason for virtual server not working expected, your reason of pool not working expected, performance issues, where we'll talk about troubleshooting, resource utilization, what is difference between control plane and data plane, different types of virtual server use cases, network level performance issues, packet drop, speed and duplex, TCP profiles. Load balancing is not working fine. This is favorite interview question which I was asked in every interviews. It's a big contents, guys. That is why it is more than 2.5 months. Then system device management, HA, hardening part, log files, UCS backup, migrations, high availability, how to see LCD panel warning messages, authentication, TACAs, LDAP, DNS, NTP, how to configure this, config sync. There is a component called config sync. How you can use different modules. What is the difference between LTM versus GTM versus WAF? Then I rules, IAP. Then we'll talk about pool member settings. So this one I was talking about. I was talking about action on service done. I'll just show you. So when I go to the pool, go to your HTTP pool, go to advanced. So there is a component called action on service down. What is slow RAM time? What does SNAT and NAT mean? What does availability means? At least or all, that all will be discussed. Properties of pools and modify. How to open support case. How to run EUD. QK view file, how to read it. All this will be covered in your 201. So when I talk about module 1, it will cover 24 hours. When I talk about troubleshooting, it will cover around 20 hours, 44 hours. When I talk about certification, it will be 10 to 15 hours. So it is around 55 hours, 60 hours, sorry, 44, 60 hours, plus 6 hours bonus. 66 hours, 6 hours bonus will be your interview series, where I given you guarantee that I'll be covering 80 to 90 scenario based questions. And this course will not be added in your old courses because this has been designed for Diwali only. After Diwali, this course price will be around 20,000. So I'm giving my best, and this course no one has delivered in this world so far. So module, okay, then we'll talk about, okay. Last one is your interview series. So guys, this was all about your course content.